It is by means of soul that man is the Lord of creation, as it is by means of soul that man acquires the knowledge of God as attributes, and by no other organs of the body. It is by means of soul that man can go to the nearness of God and make efforts to realize Him. So, soul is the king of the body, and its different organs are its servants, to carry out its orders and commands. It is accepted by God when it remains free from things other than God. When it is attached to things other than God, it drifts away from God. It is soul which will be asked and rebuked. It is fortunate if it is purified and cleaned. Soul has got two armies. One army can be seen by the external eye, and another army cannot be seen except by the internal eye. These two armies are necessary for upkeep of the dominion of this king. Courtiers, servants, helps, etc., are the armies of the king, which can be seen by the external eyes. Similarly, hands, feet, eyes, ears, tongue, and other outward and inward organs are the armies of soul. They are all servant of soul which rules over them. They have been created to obey them. They cannot go against soul. When the soul orders the eyes to open, they open. When it orders the feet to walk, they walk. Their submission is like that of angels of God. The angels have been created to obey God, and they cannot go against Him. These armies are necessary for soul for its journey to God. Body is the conveyance or carrier of soul that its food is knowledge. In order that it can acquire its food, the ingredients which are necessary are goods, deeds. The man who engages all his limbs, thoughts, and actions to please God is like an angel and fit to be called an angel. He who makes efforts only for his physical comforts come down to the class of an animal. He becomes then envious like an ox, greedy like a pig, biting like a dog, eats like a camel, take revenge like a leopard, cunning like a jackal. There is no such limb or sense which do not help man to reach God. He is successful who walk in that path, and he is unsuccessful who is misguided. There are four natures of man: 1 beastly nature, 2 animal nature, 3 devilish nature, and 4 angelic nature. Anger is a sign of beastly nature, along with enmity, hatred, rebuke, attack on people, etc. His animal nature is seen when his sexual passion becomes strong. He has got devilish natures like deceit, fraud, conspiracy, etc. He has got angelic nature, such as divine service, worship of God, doing good to all. As he has got the divine thing soul, he has got the nature of lordship, and he likes to be free from servitude and meanness. Take for instance that a well has been dug underneath the ground. There are 2 ways of pouring waters in it. One way through a pipe or canal, and another way is to dig the well very deep, so that water may gush forth from its bottom. The second mode is better, as water obtained in this way is more pure and lasting. Similarly, soul is like a well, knowledge is like water, and the 5 senses are like pipes or canals. Knowledge like water comes to the soul through the help of 5 organs like pipes or canals. If you wish to get pure knowledge, you shall have to shut up the 5 senses, as you shut up the pipes or canals to get pure water into the well, and dig it very deep so that pure water may gush forth from the bottom. The filth in the bottom of well must be cleared, to allow pure water to gush forth from the bottom. So also, in order to get pure and unadulterated knowledge, you shall have to shut up knowledge gained by the 5 senses, because such knowledge is full of harasses, superstitions, and errors. If there is change in the temperament of moderation, it must be understood that the body has got disease. Its medicine is to act to its opposite. For instance, heat can be removed by cold, and cold by heat, and fire by water. If one catches cold, it can be removed by using hot things. Illiteracy can be removed by learning, miserliness by charity, pride by humility, and greed by patience. Similarly, the diseases of soul can be removed by the bitter pills of patience and good actions. The diseases of body end with the death of body, but the diseases of soul will last after death, as soul is everlasting. If that limb or organ does not do that particular function, it has got disease. If it does that function easily, it is sound. Eye has been created to see. If it does not see, it has got disease. So also the case with ear and nose. Soul has been created for acquiring divine knowledge, love of God, and finding pleasure in divine services. He who loves anything more than God has got his soul diseased. This is the sign of the disease of soul. Every soul is diseased except that which loves God. If there is disease of miserliness, the medicine to remove it is to give constant charities and spending money. There is limit to charity and expenditure. He who exceeds the limit falls into another disease, the fault of extravagance. It becomes then just like the man suffering cold, who uses such hot thing, which takes him to another trouble. Our object is to gain the limit of moderation, avoiding the two extremes. The middle path is the straight path, which is more narrow than a hair and more sharp-edged than a sword. As an unruly horse is to be kept by strong rein, the disobedient soul of man should be kept by a more firm rein. Fight against your passion by the weapon of effects. 1. To eat little, 2. To sleep little, 3. To speak when necessary, and 4. To keep patience at the troubles of the people. There is death of passion because of little food. Sincere intention arises out of little sleep. There is safety from dangers and difficulties on account of few talks. If there is patience at the troubles given by others, one can reach his destined goal. There is no greater difficulty than to keep patience at the time of harsh treatment of the people and the troubles given by them. Once a man asked Caliph Omar bin Abdul Aziz, "When shall I talk?" He said, "When you wish to remain silent." He asked, "When shall I remain silent?" He said, "When you wish to talk." The sage Anaf Bks was once asked, "From whom have you learnt patience?" He said, "From Ks Bsm." He was again asked, "How did he learn patience?" He said, "He was once seated in his house, when a black female slave was coming to him with hot roasted meat. Suddenly the hot roasted meat fell from her hand and fell on the head of his child, who died as a result. The female slave was greatly fearful of her master, who said to her, 'You have got no fear. Go, you are free for the sake of God.'" Greed for food is a destructive evil. Owing to this greed, Adam and Eve were expelled from paradise. They were prohibited to eat the fruits of a certain tree, but they ate them prompted by a strong greed, and as such evil deeds were disclosed to them. In fact, belly is the container of greed, and the breeding ground of diseases and disasters. In case of satisfaction of belly, sexual passion rises high. Desire for name and fame grows from greed. Then come the evil attributes of hatred, clash of interests, pride, self-conceit, etc. These can be removed by hunger. The Prophet said, "He who sleeps long, eats much and drinks much, will be the greatest object of the wrath of God." The Prophet said, "Don't make your heart dead by taking excessive food and drink, as the heart is like a field of crops. When there is excessive water in a field, crops are damaged." He said, "The son of Adam does not fill up anything more obnoxious than excessive food. To keep his backbone erect is sufficient for him." Another benefit of hunger produces modesty. Pride and enjoyments are removed by hunger. Another benefit of hunger is sleeplessness. He who eats to his heart's content drinks much, and he who drinks much sleeps much. Life is the most valuable thing of a man, and so it is ruined by excessive sleep. Caliph Harun-Rashid is reported to have called eminent physicians of his time, of India, Byzantium, Iraq, and Abyssinia, and said to them, "Give me such a medicine as can prevent all diseases." The Indian physician said, "If you use black olives, you will not be attacked with any disease." The Iraqi physician said, "It is the medicine of white seeds of Halentia." The physician of Byzantium said, "It is the medicine of olives." The most experienced said, "The medicine of olives makes the stomach narrow and creates a disease. The seeds of white Helenca make the stomach soft and create a disease." They asked, "What medicine have you got then?" He said, "What will not create any disease in my sight is this: don't eat unless you feel hungry, and lift up your hand when there remains a little hunger." They all said, "You have prescribed the right medicine." Hazrat Omar used to eat not more than 7 to 9 morsels. If a man eats in excess of this quantity, he commits the sin of extravagance. They are often cheated by false hunger. The Prophet said, "He who is safe from the harms of his belly, sexual organ, and tongue is safe from all troubles. For these 3 organs, majority of the people are destroyed." The Prophet said, "He who is pleased with Islam shall take to silence." He said, "When a man rises from bed, his limbs get up and rebuke his tongue." In other words, they say to his tongue, "Fear God regarding us, because when you are all right, we are all right, and when you are wrong, we are wrong." Hazrat Abu Zar said, "The Prophet once said to me, 'Shall I not give clue to you to such an action, which is light for body but heavy in the balance?' I said, 'Yes, O Prophet of God.' He said, 'Silence, good conduct, and giving up unnecessary things.'" Harms of tongue: unnecessary talk. Excessive talk, necessary talks can be held in short. If one sentence is sufficient, second sentence is unnecessary. Praise. Another evil of the tongue is to praise. The harm is that when a man praises another, the latter becomes pleased and finds solace, and as such gives up self-improvement. The Prophet said, "It is better to attack a man with sharp sword than to praise a man before his face." Hazrat Omar said, "Praise grows idleness or self-praise, and pride. Both are destructive like murder." Prophet said, "The middle way is the best of all actions." So the 2 extremes must be avoided: not to be angry at all, and to be excessively angry. This is the straight path. The sages did not get angry as they were engaged in the affairs of the next world. There are 3 causes of not getting angry. The first cause is that the mind is more engaged in more necessary things. The second cause is that the mind is immersed in Tawhid. 3. And the third cause is that he knows that God does not love anger, and so more love for God extinguishes the fire of anger. This is possible when the love of the world is ousted from heart. It is said that there was a king among the children of Israel who had a minister. When the king got angry, the minister showed him a writing in which it was written, "Fear death and remember the next world." He used to read it till his anger was appeased. He who shows kindness is shown kindness. He who keeps silent remains safe. He who holds in contempt is defeated. He who makes haste commits mistakes. True religious men have got no envy. The real cause of envy is love of the world. Those who love the world envy one another for wealth, riches, power, and name and fame. The religious persons have got no such greed, and as such they have got no envy. They desire the next world and its comforts. A traveler towards the next world must necessarily possess 3 qualities: Zikr, remembrance of God, fikr, good thought and meditation, and pious actions which prevent him from worldly greeds. To such a man, the enjoyments of the world are bitter. If there is no health, these qualities cannot be attained, and dress and an abode for habitations. So these things are also necessary. If a man takes these things to the proportion of necessity, with the object of the next world, he cannot be addicted to the world. For him the world is a seed ground for the future. Zikr is the highest stage of a religious traveler. He who has got no wealth has got to do many things by his own hand, for which a great deal of time, which could be engaged in zikr, is spent uselessly. He who is rich can engage others to do these and other works. The Prophet said, "Will you not take allegiance to the Prophet of God?" The companions said, "Yes." He said, "Do divine service and don't set up partner with him. Pray 5 times a day, hear and obey." Then he secretly said, "Don't beg to people." The narrator said, after that day, nobody among us required anybody to lift even a stick when it fell down. The Prophet said, "God saves one from depending on others who spends moderately, and he throws one in want who is extravagant." A king was presented a most valuable cup made of rare pearls. The king was greatly pleased to get it, and asked a wise courtier how he liked it. The courtier said, "I consider it as a great danger, and perchance it will throw you into want and distress." The king said, "How can it be?" The courtier said, "If it is broken, it will be an object of your great repentance, as the like of it will not be found. If it is stolen by a thief, you will feel its want very keenly." The king then felt very much worried and said that the saying of the wise courtier was correct. This event is applicable to all things of the world.